No, let me.
You dey look as I dey chop for
No.
national TV.
Hey, put it on mute.
You dey look as I dey chop for national TV, abi?
I can hear you guys.
No.
You're on the phone now. Wait, I'll meet here actually. Nimi, can you hear us? All right.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
All right. Cool. I
Mute,
think
mute again. Nimi, can you hear? Nimi?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
You can hear us. All right.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now share the link, please.
So we're going to share the link now. Hold on.
Let me can share the link.
Okay.
Can you share the link, Nimi?
Yeah, let me share.
Copy your link and share it, please. Okay, I don't know.
All right, President, go shower.
President, make sure his wife's real.
Not yet. But share the link. Share the link. We're starting 6 o'clock.
President, wife's are you real?
President, hurry up, abeg.
Now what did they wear? Now literally they wear green.
Name
I'm your phone, man.
Now my phone. We are
Oh,
off
now
mute.
leave me the
We are
phone.
mute. We are not on mute anymore.
We're off mute now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if they can hear us.
They can hear us.
They can hear?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
You can hear me? Are you sure? You heard me when I was speaking?
Mimi, can you hear us? Okay. David, can you hear us?
Can you hear the president?
Yes. Yeah. Just put it on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Can you hear us?
Marvelous. Marvelous said we can hear you. Thank you, Marvelous. Thank you. That's I just wanted to know if people can hear us. Oh, it's
Like it's a really
yeah, it's a little delay. There's a little 3 seconds delay. Well, thank you anyway. I think we should start now.
Yeah, let's get started.
Okay. Let's get started. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for showing up. Sorry for the 5 minutes delay. We're trying to straighten out the kinks in our. This is a 5 minutes, almost 2 minutes delay.
You want to be started?
No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll just go ahead. Thank you. Well, like I say, good evening, everyone. It's a real pleasure to welcome you all to McKinney, Texas, and to the official drawing ceremony for the 16th annual All Nigerian Soccer Festival, proudly organized by the Nigerian Soccer Federation USA and the Dallas LOC. First off, if you haven't already noticed, we are right here at the prestigious Sheraton Hotel, proudly given to us by the LOC. Thank you, LOC. This is the same hotel that will host many of us during the festival later this year. Consider this a bit of pre-tournament reconnaissance. I've been around. I see it's really, really prestigious. Like I said, some of us have conducted already a very serious investigation, starting with the breakfast buffet. I hope you save some room though, because what we are serving today isn't eggs and toast. It's rivalries, suspense, group stage drama, and if we are lucky, a few classic grudge matchups. You are laughing already. We've come a long way since our very first edition, as you guys will know. Many of us remember a few teams, a handful of supporters, and a whole lot of heart. Now, here we are in 2025, welcoming over 35 teams. 38 teams to be exact, from across the United States, representing Nigerian and African pride, excellence, and unity in all its forms. But make no mistake, this is more than just football. It's about community, legacy, and the power of sport to bring us together year after year. We are grateful to God for this. Through these games, we reconnect, mentor our youth, and showcase the very best of Nigerian and African spirit on American soil. As we get ready to draw the groups and let fate do its thing, I want to thank all the teams who registered. Some registered very early, most last-minute registration. You all know yourselves. But I thank you nonetheless. Our LOC and my esteemed executive members, I know 4 of us are here today. The commissioner could not make it, he has an emergency. The PRO is unavoidably absent. The secretary was here earlier today with the help with arrangement, and he had to leave. But the executive, in all, they are doing a very wonderful job. And of course, our sponsors. I know we are looking for more. We need more sponsors. We are running on fumes right now. And supporters who come to believe in this vision. of NSFUSA. We'll keep it very short today. I know everyone's here to see who they are going to battle it out with in October, but let's remember, the draw is the spark, but the tournament is the fire. So whatever happens today, stay humble and stay ready. Thank you all for being here. I mean, the balls bounce in your favor. That's all I can say. But before we go ahead, I just need to stress out these few points before we go ahead. 1 second. So we know what we're dealing with. We have two tournaments in one, over 40 and the open tournament. For the over 40, we have 18 teams. These 18 teams are going to be grouped in 6 groups, 3 teams per group, which guarantees every team 3 games each. 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, no quarterfinals. You will thank me when you come to Mckinney. When you go to the field, it's nothing like what we experienced in Maryland. I guarantee you, you will thank me. In the over 40, they're going to be going straight to the semifinals on Sundays. So the group plays against each other. That's a Group A versus Group B, Group C versus Group D, while Group E will battle it out with Group F. One table will be created for the entire tournament, and the overall top 4 goes to the semifinals on Sunday. We have 3 seeds. We have Maracana, we have Storm FC, and then we have Chicago All-Stars. Why were they seeded? Maracana and Storm played finals last year. Chicago was the best loser. Elevate was the other loser, but Chicago was best loser as they lost on PK. That's why Chicago was picked, Chicago All-Stars. These draws will be done so teams from the same city do not play each other. That's our ultimate goal. We'll try as much as humanly possible to make sure teams don't play against other teams in that same city. For the open category, we have 20 teams, 5 groups, 4 teams per group. This also guarantees each team will play 3 games, 1 on Friday and 2 on Saturday. I'm going to emphasize 1 on Friday because I know I've gotten some calls. People want to play 2 games on Friday, and the executive kicked against it. It's going to be almost difficult to play 2 games on Friday, except we start very early. And some teams, they've already bought their ticket. They come in the afternoon. If you're not bought your ticket already, please plan to arrive early, as the games most probably will be starting at 3 p.m. for Friday. We have all the 38 teams playing 1 game each. So you're going to be 19 games on that day?
Yes.
Okay. The good thing is that we have 6 fields. So all 6 fields will be utilized every hour for 3 to 4 hours. So if we don't start at 3 p.m., it's going to be very difficult to conclude 1 game per team on Friday. So we must start at 3. Plan to arrive early. We have 8 teams. After the round robin, the group stage, 8 teams will progress. And how are the 8 teams going to progress? The first in each group of the 5 groups will progress to the quarterfinal, followed by 3 best teams. Three best seconds from each of the groups. The top 5 group winners, like I said, will be seeded 1 to 5 based on their records, and the 3 second place will be seeded from 6 to 8 based on their records also. Seed 1 will then play seed 8. Seed 2 will play seed 7. Seed 3 will play seed 6, and seed 4 will play seed 5 in the quarterfinals. The winner of seed 1 versus seed 8 will play the winner of seed 4 versus seed 5 in the semi-finals. The winner of seed 2 versus winner of seed 2 versus seed 7 will play winner of seed 3 versus seed 6 in the semi-finals. Also, see, five teams were seeded before the commencement of these draws for the Open. Those 5 teams are Calling Stars FC, DGE, Invincible Eagles, and Chicago Gazelle with New York Eagles. These are 5 out of the 8 quarterfinalists from last year. The other 3, Maryland 2, Houston Green Eagles, and Calling FC are not participating this year. So it was easy for us to see the rest of the 5 quarterfinalists. You know, draws will be done again, like I said, in the over 40. Draws will be done, so teams from the same city do not play each other. However, we cannot guarantee teams from the same state not playing each other. You know, Texas have a lot of teams, so we might be able to guarantee you that Houston and Houston team are not playing in the round robin, but a Houston and a Dallas team might be playing in the round robin. Okay, are we ready? The HO, the commissioner, the HO is here. Commissioner is not here, so I've asked Mr. Charles Yamo, the VP, to deputize on his behalf. So Mr. Yamo will lead us in the draws. Are you ready, Mr. Charles?
I am.
Okay, let's go.
All right. All right, guys. Good evening, everybody. Mr. President, thanks for the great introduction. So this drawing today will require a lot of, you have to pay attention, right? Especially on the over 40 side, which we are going to do first. As the President mentioned, the over 40 is cross-play between groups, meaning the groups are playing against each other instead of the teams playing against each other in the group. So when we call the teams out, it's not going to be in the order in which you expect. Okay? So Group A is playing against Group B, Group C is playing against Group D, Group E is playing against Group F, meaning if you are seeded or if you are in the same city, you are going to be going into every other group to avoid playing against each other because of the cross-play. So please try to follow along. We wanted to have another visual for these draws to kind of guide everybody as it's happening, but unfortunately we weren't able to get that going. But our PRO is on tap right now, so he will be sending out the information as we are saying it live. Also, right here in front of the HO is the dummy schedule. What does that mean? It means that we have a schedule already. As we pull the names out here, the HO will record the name that got pulled, and your schedule will be ready at the end of the drawing today. There is no predetermined team anywhere, it's just a dummy schedule. Your name will only be entered once it's pulled out of the pot. Okay? So please, I'm going to try to be as slow and meticulous as possible so everybody can follow, because it's a little bit more complex than normal. And I hope at the end of the day, once you get your schedule, you understand exactly what it will take to progress to the next round, and you have an idea of when your games are going to be played. So, with that said, we are going to get started with the over 40 first, because it's more complex than the open schedule. All right, the over 40 again is 6 groups. There are going to be 3 teams per group. And we're going to start off by filling out these pots with the teams. As you can see, for the over 40, right now we have 4 pots. In pot 1 will be the 3 seeded teams: Marikana, Chicago All-Stars, and Storm FC. Pot 2 will have 5 Houston teams: Alliance, Houston Green Eagles, Invincible Eagles, Mamba, and Colin FC. Pot 3 will have 3 Dallas teams: Diamond FC, DGE Vets, and Dallas Elephants. And then pot 4 will have the rest of the world. Okay? So, all the teams in the over 40 are right here. I'm going to pick out each team, call out their name, and then place them in the right pot, as we just discussed. So first, we are going to fill up pot 1 with the teams. Pot 1, again, is the top seeds, the 3 teams. First is Maracana. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is Maracana Ballers of Maryland, the first team to go into pot A. So I'm going to take out the ball. We need musical. So fill up the air. All right, Maracana going into pot A. The next team to go into pot 1, pot 1 is Chicago All Stars. That is the next seed. Chicago All Stars will be the next team to go into pot 1. Chicago All Stars. Right here, Chicago All Stars. They can see it. Chicago All Stars. Okay, thank you. All right, look at no, that's pot 2. I don't want to pot 2 yet.
No, I'm just looking. So it says.
All right, and the last team to go into pot 1 is Storm FC. Storm FC will be the last team to go into pot 1. Storm FC Maryland, the last team to go into pot 1. Since you guys, we don't have music, we'll start singing for ourselves.
LOC. The first class.
All right.
Yes.
Pot 1 is full with the 3 seeds. The next, we're going to fill up pot 2, which is the Houston teams. The first Houston team to go into pot 2 is Alliance. Alliance FC of Houston is going into pot 2. Alliance FC of Houston going into pot 2. We need DJ. Next year we have to have DJ.
Next year,
All right. The next team to go into pot 2 is Houston Green Eagles. Houston Green Eagles going into pot 2. Sorry, show them. Houston Green Eagles going into pot 2. Yeah, going into pot 2. All right, the next team to go into pot 2 is Invincible Eagles. Going into pot 2. Again, pot 2 has all the Houston teams. We are trying to make them avoid playing each other in the group stage as much as we can. Invincible going into pot 2. And the next team going into pot 2 is Mamba. Mamba Vets, the next team going into pot 2 for over 40. Mamba Vets is the next team going into pot 2. What do you call it? And the last team going into pot 2 is Colin. Colin FC. Not to be confused with the open Colin Stars.
So, who you playing with? Colin or Invisible?
He doesn't know.
What?
High speeder.
All right, pot 2. Colin. Now we'll fill up pot 3 with the Dallas teams. The first team going into pot 3 for the Dallas teams is Diamond FC of Dallas. Diamond FC of Dallas. Diamond FC of Dallas is going into pot 3. 3. All right. The next team going to pot 3 is Dallas Golden Eagles Vets. Pot 3 is just the Dallas teams. EGE Vets going into pot 3. All right, and then the last team going to pot 3 is Dallas Elephants. Dallas Elephants, our brothers from the Ivory Coast, making their debut in the NSFUSA competition. Dallas Elephants going into pot 3. Oh, give me the color. Okay. All right, and then the last pot is the rest of the world. The first team is Atlanta Vets. Atlanta Eagles Vets is the first team going into pot 4. First team going into pot 4 is Atlanta Vets. All right. Next team going is Schaumburg All-Stars of Illinois. Schaumburg All-Stars, Illinois, going into pot 4. Going into pot 4, Schaumburg All-Stars, Illinois. Next time, well, I know that we need to deal.
This man,
We need to deal next
I
time.
like on YouTube.
Going into pot 4, Team 3, New York Eagles Vets. Team 3, New York Eagles Vets. Team 3. All right, the rest of the world pot is filling up slowly. Yes, they do. They're not good.
No, that's 3. Hold on.
Oh no, that's not pot 3, pot 4, sorry. Going into pot 4. All right, New York is in there. The next team going into pot 4 is Colorado Eagles. Colorado Eagles Vets.
17-30-19.
1738. Colorado Eagles going into pot 4. All right, and then the next team after that is LA. LA Eagles. LA Vets. Sorry, LA Vets. They always make that distinction. LA Vets. Going into pot 4. All right. And then the next team is Austin Eagles Vets. Austin Eagles FC, Austin, Texas. Sorry, you're going to the rest of the world even though you're from Texas. Sorry. All right. And the final team going into pot 4 is El Paso. El Paso Eagles versus Desert Eagles from El Paso going into pot 4. That is the last team for the over 40 competition going into pot 4. Oh. All righty. Okay, so now all our pots. Okay, all our pots are full. Pot 1, top seeds, Maracana, Chicago All-Stars, and Storm FC. Pot 2, Houston teams, Alliance, Houston Green Eagles, Invincible, Mamba, and Colin. Pot 3, Dallas teams, Diamond, DG Vets, Dallas Elephants, and pot 4, the rest of the world, Atlanta, Schaumburg, New York, Colorado, LA, Austin, and El Paso. All right, so with that said, we're going to start picking the balls from the first team, from the first part, okay? Mr. President, I'm going to give you the honor to pick the first ball out of the first part. The first ball pick is going to Group A. It will be the first team in Group A. The first team in Group A is. Show it to them. First team in Group A is.
Maracana.
Defending champions, Maracana Ballers of Maryland. First team in Group A, Maracana Ballers of Maryland. Thank you very much. Okay.
Give me the ball. Oh, yeah, this one. Okay, keep them here.
All right. Echo, do the honor, picking the second team in Group A. Pick the second team in Group A. Second team in Group A. Second team. Hold on. Before you open it, the second team is not going to Group A. The second team is going to Group C. Group C. They will be the first team in Group C. This team that's going to come up is going to be the first team in Group C. Storm FC of Maryland. Storm FC of Maryland. First team of Group C. Storm FC of Maryland. Second seed. And, hold on. The last ball in pot one should be Chicago All-Stars. Let's confirm it too. Let's confirm it, please. Chicago All-Stars is the last team in pot one, and they are going to be the first team in Group E. They are going to be the first team in Group E. So the first three teams that we have picked have been the first teams in Group A, Group C, and Group E. All right? Now, we are going to the Houston Pots right now. Houston Pots, we are going to pick three teams. And these three teams are going to be the first teams in Group B, D, and F. Okay? Media director, you want him? You didn't shake it. You have to shake it. You have to shake it and stay. All right. First Houston team selected from pot 2 will be the first team in Group B. First team in Group B. Alliance FC of Houston will be the first team in Group B. Alliance FC of Houston. All right. Let's do. Pick again.
Can we call from the audience to pick?
Oh, we can call from the audience. We'll call from the audience to pick.
Okay. Next time, let's call.
Okay.
I can't see the audience.
No, come on, pick.
Let's call.
The second team picked from pot 2 is going to be the first team in Group D. The first team in Group D is Invincible Eagles of Houston. Invincible Eagles of Houston. That means Storm and Invincible are playing.
I said it before.
Hey! Excellent.
Oh my God.
Excellent. The third team from, you want to pick it? Pick the third team from pot 2 will be the first team to Group F. First team to Group F is Mamba.
Hey.
Mamba FC of Houston. Mamba FC is the first team in Group F. So now we are leaving pot 2 alone for now. Okay? We are moving to pot 3. Pot 2 still has 2 teams in there that haven't been picked. We are coming back to those 2 teams. But now we are moving to pot 3. These are the Dallas teams in this pot, and they are going to be going to Group A, C, and E. The Dallas teams will be going to Group A, C, and E. So, first Dallas team pick somebody from the audience who might help us out. Okay, start and pick a team. All right.
That's the guy that secured the money from the Gambia government.
First team selected from the Dallas pot going to Group A is our Ivorian brothers, the Dallas Elephants, going to Group A as the second team in Group A. Dallas Elephants.
No, keep no, it doesn't pick that now.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
Okay, come on, pick another one.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, the second team from the Dallas pot going to Group C is Diamond FC of Dallas going to Group C. Diamond FC of Dallas going to Group C as the second team. Diamond FC. All right, that means the last team in there should be Dallas Golden Eagles. Let's make sure.
It's going to Group E.
And they are going to Group E.
Who's in E already?
Chicago Gazette.
No, this is the DG. We're playing against
No,
one.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
We are not playing against each other.
No.
is confirmed. Yes. The last team is Dallas Golden Eagles. DGE will be going to Group E in the over 40. So now we have exhausted pot 1, the top seeds. We have exhausted pot 3, the Dallas teams. We still have 2 teams in pot 2. So we are going to come back to pot 2 right now and pick these 2 teams to go into Group B and Group D. Okay? They are going to go into Group B and Group D. All right? Somebody else from the audience?
Yeah, they don't play against each other. So it's good. That's the Houston teams.
There we go. Going to Group B as the second team is Houston Green Eagles. Houston Green Eagles is going to Group B as the second team. And the last team from the Houston pot going to Group D is Colin FC of Houston. Colin FC of Houston. All right. So we have exhausted pot 1, pot 2, pot 3. We have separated the Houston teams from each other. We have separated the Dallas teams from each other. We have separated the top seeds from each other. Now we go to the rest of the world. We are just going to pick one after the other to fill up the remaining groups. So right now we have 2 teams. I know. We have 2 teams in Group A, 2 teams in Group B, 2 teams in Group C, 2 in D, 2 in E, but Group F only has 1. So the next team that comes out of this pot is going to Group F. All right?
I'm supposed to make sure that you must not be Austin Eagles. That person must not be Austin Eagles. Because that's F versus E. And E will have Dallas Golden Eagles against Austin.
They are not in the same city.
So we cannot guarantee state at least.
The last team going to Group F is Schaumburg All-Stars of Illinois. Schaumburg All-Stars of Illinois going to the last team in Group F. So now we have 6 teams remaining in the pot. We are just going to fill them up in order from Group A to Group F. We start from A, we go to B, we go to C, we go to D, we go to E, we go to F. Because we're not trying to avoid anything right now. So we're just going to go in order. All right? You do the honors. Third team in Group A. The third team in Group A is El Paso Eagles. El Paso Eagles. Third team in Group A. Fourth team in Group A.
They don't see your
The
picture.
third team in Group A.
When you pick it up on this side, so everybody
Sorry,
can see.
okay. Third team in Group B, sorry.
Yeah,
Third team in Group B. Final team in Group B, sorry. Is
Austin Eagles.
Austin Eagles. Austin Eagles. All right. Third team in Group C. Third team in Group C. Third team in Group C is third team in Group C. LA Vets. LA Vets is the third team in Group C. All right. Third team in Group D. Third team in Group D. Third team in Group D is Atlanta Eagles. ATL in the house. All right. Third team in Group E. Third team in Group E. Third team in Group E, Colorado Eagles. Colorado Eagles. Third team in Group E, Colorado Eagles. And the final team to be picked, the last but not the least, is New York Eagles. Okay, guys, that concludes the over 40 draw. All right, Group A, for a recap, again, this is cross play. Group A plays Group B, Group C plays Group D, Group E plays Group F. Group A, Maracana Ballers, Maryland, Dallas Elephants and El Paso Eagles. Group B, Alliance FC Houston, Houston Green Eagles and Austin Eagles. Group C, Storm FC, Diamond FC Dallas, LA Vets. Group D, Invincible Eagles Houston, Colin FC Houston, Atlanta Eagles. Group E, Chicago All-Stars, DGE Vets, Colorado Eagles. And Group F, Mamba FC, Schaumburg All-Stars, and New York Eagles. All right. That concludes the first part of the draw for the over 40 tournament. So thank you guys. All right, can you see that?
No.
Okay.
Can they mix them all together or the?
That's the end for that.
Yeah, for the names, I'll take the names out.
Yeah, I can mix them all
Yes,
together.
Yeah, that's
The
fine.
balls is all that's
So the
missing.
balls now have, we have 6 spots for the open. So guys, give us a minute while we get ready for the open. Get rid of all these.
6 or 5.
We have 6 spots for the open. Yeah.
Make the balls match. Just line them up in front of you.
Yeah, so plus 1, we have, 1, 2, 3. Plus 2, we have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Plus 3, we have 2. Plus 2, and plus 3. And then plus 4, we'll have 3.
No, that's it.
And then plus 5 will have 3, and plus 6 will have 3.
That's it. Just,
Oh, this is part 4 has 3.
Yeah, plus
Yeah.
5.
Five has
just
3?
3,
Three.
3,
And
but
six.
that's it.
And how many?
3.
Yeah, 3, 3. So
No.
plus 1 has
That
5. Plus 1 has 5. I
It
need
has to be
to do 2 more.
20. Yeah.
Plus 1 has 5.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
But 2 has 4, but 3 has 2.
Yep. Okay. All right, guys. We're going to start the open section of the draw. As you can see, the number of pots have increased. Can you see this right here? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Number of pots have increased for the open draw. We have 20 teams in the open draw. 5 groups, 4 teams per group. The same rules apply here. We're going to have 5 seeds that will go into the 5 groups, and they are going into pot 1, which means 5 teams are going into pot 1. And then we're going to separate the teams from Dallas, and then the teams from Houston. The teams from Dallas, there are 5 of them, but 1 of them is seeded. The other 4 will go into pot 2. The teams from Houston, there are 4 of them. 2 of them are seeded. The other 2 go into pot 3. Pot 4 has Maryland teams. Pot 5 has California teams. And pot 6 has the rest of the world. So the way this is going to go, we'll pick from pot 1, group A, B, C, D, E. And then we'll go to pot 2, which is the Dallas teams. Those 4 Dallas teams will go to the other groups that don't have the 1 Dallas team that's seeded. And then we'll go to pot 3. The 2 Houston teams will go to 2 groups that don't have Houston teams. The earlier group, so if A doesn't have a Houston team, they will go to A. If A has one, if B doesn't have one, they'll go to B. The earlier letter, the way that it is. And then we start doing the same for the Maryland teams to split them up to the rest of the groups, California teams, and then the rest of the world will fill it up. Again, 5 groups, 4 teams per group. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's put the teams in their pots. The first team to go into pot 1 is defending champions, Collins Stars FC of Houston. They are going into pot 1 as the top seed. They are going into pot 1 as the top seed. And the next team that will go into pot 1 is the second seed, Dallas Golden Eagles. Dallas Golden Eagles going into pot 1. Dallas Golden Eagles. Next team going into pot 1 is Invincible Eagles of Houston, Texas. Invincible Eagles of Houston going into pot 1. Invincible Eagles going into pot 1. And the next team going into pot 1 is New York. New York Eagles going into pot 1 as one of the top 5 seeds. New York Eagles going into pot 1. And the last team going into pot 1 as one of the top 5 seeds is Chicago Gazelle. Chicago Gazelle going into pot 1, one of the top 5 seeds. Okay. This is too.
It won't close.
All right. We have our 5 teams in pot 1. Pot 2 will be the remaining 4 Dallas teams. Dallas Elephants, the first team going into pot 2. Dallas Elephants going into pot 2. All right. And the next team going into pot 2 is Gamtex. Gamtex is the next team going into pot 2. Gamtex FC of Dallas going into pot 2.
Come next.
The third team going into pot 2 is Diamond FC of Dallas. Diamond FC of Dallas. The third team going into pot 2, Diamond FC of Dallas. And then the last team going into pot 2 is United Africa Soccer Club, UASC of Dallas. UASC of Dallas. All right. So last team going into pot 2. And then pot 3, going to pot 3 will be the remaining 2 Houston teams. Mamba. Actually, before we go to pot 3, these are your 4 teams in pot 2. Going to pot 3 is the other 2 Houston teams. Mamba FC.
Yeah.
No, that's BA.
Oh, yeah.
Where's Mamba?
Mamba. It's just getting for one of the papers over there. We have to be. One second, guys. 1 second.
No, don't need. Okay. Just bring the number. And bring the rest. Let me put it. Bring the rest.
All right. Our first team going into the Houston pot, Mamba FC of Houston, Texas. Mamba FC going into the Houston pot as the Houston team 3 or 4. And the last Houston team going into pot 3 is Aurora. Aurora FC from Houston is going into pot 3. Aurora FC of Houston is going into pot 3. All right. Pot Port 3 has the two Houston teams, the remaining two Houston teams. Port 4 is the Maryland teams. First team going is Eastern Vipers of Maryland. Eastern Vipers of Maryland. First team going into Port 4.
Eastern Snake.
All right.
The next team going after Eastern Vipers is Bendel FC of Maryland. Bendel FC of Maryland.
We change it.
Bendel FC of Maryland.
Which is?
And the last team going into Port 4 is the last Maryland team, Storm FC. Storm FC going to Port 4. Port 5, we have our California guys. Port 4 is full, so Port 5, first team going to Port 5 from California, Pan-Afrique from the Bay Area. Pan-Afrique, first team going to Port 5. Alright. The next team going to Port 5 is also from the Bay Area, called Bay Area Africa Football Club. BAAFC. Going into Port 5. And the last team going into Port 5 is LA Eagles. LA Eagles. Going into Port 5. All right. Our last spot is the rest of the world. First team going in is Atlanta Eagles. Atlanta Eagles. And next team going in will be our brothers from Somalia, I think. Wisconsin All Stars. Oh no, is it Wisconsin All Stars? No, Superstars of Wisconsin. Sorry, Superstars.
Group E, nothing the best.
Yeah, it's okay now.
Now we're talking.
You need to set it up.
No, wait, it's working, but wait. Okay, let's do this.
All right, are we back?
Yes.
Okay, we apologize, guys, for the technical difficulty
It's good now.
encountered there. You know, sometimes with technology is difficult to predict, but we are back. As you can see, trust me,
No,
the ports are
intact.
the ports are intact. Nothing's changed here. We haven't started selecting for the groups, but all the ports are aligned. Ports 1 through 6. We have one last team that we're about to put in port 6, and we must announce them. It's Boston Eagles. They are the last team to go into port 6. All right, show them, please. Where's the last team to go into port 6 is Boston Eagles. All right. Now, just in case you forgot in that little intermission, pot 1, top 5 seeds. Pot 2, Dallas teams. Pot 3, Houston teams. Pot 4, Maryland teams. Pot 5, California teams. Pot 6, the rest of the world. All right, so we're going to start by picking out of pot 1 the teams, the top 5 seeds that are going to go to group A, B, C, D, and E. First team we pick is going to group A. Mr. President.
Yeah.
Okay. First team going to group A is Chicago Gazelle, as picked by the president. First team to group A, Chicago Gazelle. All right. The next team going to group B, HO. Next team going to group B is first team in group B is three-time defending champions, Calling Stars FC Houston. First team in group B. Now, just to say this, there is no cross-play in the open. You play who's in your group. Just a reminder, cross-play is only for over 40. In the open, you play who's in your group. All right. The next team will be the first team out of group C, Connecticut. First team from group C is Invincible Eagles of Houston, Texas. Invincible Eagles of Houston, Texas. The fourth team, Group D. Let me do the honors for this one. Group D. The first team in Group D is
Yes.
my best friend, Dallas Golden Eagles. The last team, not the last team, the first team in Group E is in 5th seed, should be New York. Let's confirm. Should be New York Eagles. New York Eagles going to Group E. They're going to Group E. All right, so the top 5 seeds have gone to the 5 groups as the first teams. So now we have 4 Dallas teams to pick out of pot 2. These Dallas teams are going to go to Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group E. Not Group D, because the DGE is already there. So, you do the honors. Pick the first one.
And this is going to what group? What group?
This is going to Group A. With Chicago Gazelle.
That's me. Oh, I want
Chicago Gazelle.
You don't want Chicago. You want invisible. You don't want to be Chicago. You want invisible.
With Chicago Gazelle.
Your wish just came true.
Caltex FC going to Group A.
That's why you didn't qualify.
Alright.
The second team picked somebody from the
What a
audience.
revenge. Mr. Agedo pick.
But it was a tie.
This is a
And I only had 4 players.
that's
I only had 4 players.
No, you need to avoid people in
Hold on.
group stage. To avoid
Second team from Dallas going to Group B. Second team from Dallas going to Group B is going to Group B is Diamond FC.
That's what Kadani.
That's Police Star, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, third,
Mr. Agedo, can you pick the
the third Dallas team is going to be the second
From
team
Dallas,
from
man.
C.
I know. That's from Dallas. That's in
The third Dallas team from the audience going to Group C.
Don't go. It's easier to do that.
The third team going to Group C from Dallas is UASC of Dallas. UASC going to Group C. And the last team going to Group E. Going to Group E should be Dallas Elephants. That is the last team. Should be Dallas Elephants. Let's make sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Let's make sure. Dallas Elephants going to Group E. Dallas Elephants going to Group E. So now we go to Port 3. Again, just to recap, Group A has Chicago Gazelle and Gamtex FC. Group B has Collins Stars and Diamond FC. Group C has Invincible Eagles and UASC FC. Group D has just Dallas Golden Eagles. Group E has New York and Dallas Elephants. Okay, now these two Houston teams, like we mentioned in the beginning, they are going to go to the earliest earliest letters that don't have a Houston team. So that means these two Houston teams are going to Group A and Group D, because Group B and Group C have Houston teams. So they are going to Group A and Group D. Okay? Now, you, Gamtex, Chicago, and then Group D have just the G. Yeah. So the first team pick will go to Group D because
Group D, yeah,
Group
yes.
D only has one team.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead.
yes. Number.
So this first team is going to Group D because Group D only has one team. Mamba FC of Houston. And the last Houston team is going to Group A, which already has two teams.
That's my group.
Yes.
Against Aurora.
The last Houston team is going to Group A,
Oh my God.
and it should be Aurora FC.
Look at this.
Oh my God.
Confirm it.
Look at it.
McKinney is going to be fun.
Aurora FC, Texas. Aurora FC
It's going to be fun.
going to Group A. All right. So now we have done the top seeds, Dallas teams, Houston teams. We are now going to Port 4, and Port 4 has the Maryland team. So now we are just going to fill up the rest of the groups. So we have 3 teams in Group A: Gazelle, Gamtex, Aurora. 2 teams in Group B, 2 in Group C, 2 in Group D, and 2 in Group E. So we're going to pick 3 Maryland teams to go to B, C, and D. And then we will pick 1 team from the rest of the world to Group E. And then we'll go to California to go to A, B, and C. And then the rest of the world will fill up the remaining 2.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So Group B, first team Group B. Third team Group B, sorry. First team from Port 4 going to Group B as the third team is Eastern Vipers of Maryland. Eastern Vipers of Maryland is going to Group B. All right, the next team is going to Group C.
Let them see. Let them see. Turn on. No, turn on. Let them see.
Pick one. Going to Group C from Maryland is Bendel FC of Maryland. Kawaki Storm. Okay, going to Group D. The third team from Maryland going to Group D should be Storm FC. Storm FC. They are not the Storm FC. Storm FC going to Group D. Thank you very much. So now we are going to. Are we going to Port 6 or are we going to California Port? We're going to
California Port. California Port is filling up everything. Number 5 is the rest of the world, which is Eagles, Wisconsin, and Boston.
Yeah, we want to make sure that California is not in the same group with each other. Yeah.
3-3. But then we have to fill up New York first.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
New York, Eagles, Dallas.
California, we'll just go to California. Okay. California. There you go. Group E, it doesn't matter. Group E, 13 in Group E to California is BAAFC San Francisco going to Group E. BAAFC is going to Group E. All right. The other California going to Group A as the fourth team. The other California team going to Group A as the fourth team is. I died, my ladies, I died. LA Eagles. Group A is brutal. LA Eagles going to Group A. Group of them. And the last California team should be Pan Afrique. It should be Pan Afrique.
Okay, thank you.
Oh my God.
Pan Afrique FC going to Group B.
Yes.
Pan Afrique.
Group B is complete.
Oh wow.
Which group is easy?
Group B. All right. The rest of the world will fill up the last 3 slots. Let's go pick one. Group C. Last team in Group C is. Superstars of Wisconsin. Superstars of Wisconsin is the 4th team of Group C. And the 4th team of Group D, who never. Touch one. 4th team of Group D is. Boston. Yeah, I pray for Boston Eagles. Boston Eagles, 4th team of Group D, Boston Eagles. And the last team should be Atlanta Eagles. President will do the honor and confirm it. That is Atlanta Eagles.
Let's go. Oh my God,
It's good fun.
this zombie is no longer
The
smiling.
last team called withdraws, last team in Group E, Atlanta Eagles.
Whoa.
Whew! The die is cast, guys.
Gentlemen.
Based on this format, we have avoided teams from the same city as much as we could. We tried to separate teams from the same state as much as we could. So based on that, for the open, Group A, Chicago Gazelle, Gantex FC, Aurora FC, LA Eagles. Group B, Calling Stars FC, Diamond FC, Eastern Vipers, and Pan Afrique, California. Group C, Invincible Eagles,
It's like
UASC, Bendel FC, and Superstars of Wisconsin. And Group D, Dallas Golden Eagles, Mamba FC, Storm FC, and Boston Eagles. Group E, New York Eagles, Dallas Elephants, BAAFC, and Atlanta Eagles. Remember, the format for the open,
2 new teams.
group winners and 3 best second place make it to the quarterfinals. So, gentlemen, good luck. Let ball bounce well for all of us.
Thank you very much, Kadila. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you very much. President, you want to give him
Well, it's been a long day. I want to thank the executive committee
for a job well done. I know there are going to be some questions, and we are ready to answer those questions for the organization. It wasn't easy trying to get the format for this year. Not actually, yeah. But it is what it is. It's a fair and balanced draw. Everybody's not going to be happy when they see their group mates. However, it is what it is. Our major aim as the executive committee is not to make people happy, but to be fair and balanced. I think we just did that. This is the first time it's gone live, and I think we did an incredible job. Nobody thanked us. I thank the executive committee. I want to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. This job is not easy. So, you can go on our YouTube page.
I don't see any, there are no questions on the chat. Right?
Yeah, that's something. You can go on our YouTube page, watch the draws again, ask questions. We'll try and answer it to the best of our ability. But that's the only place we can get questions. So you can go to our WhatsApp page and ask questions too. But thank you. I think we're done for the day.
Yeah, just one last thing. Just HO just reminded us. We'll be sending out official rules, and as you guys know, we'll have team meetings to clarify everything. How the format for the over 40, as far as like how we are going to calculate the points, goals difference, discipline, and all that to get the top 4, because that's going to be a little bit more complicated because of 18 teams. All of that will be put together in a document and sent out, and we'll have meetings to further discuss it. So bear with us. So for right now, we have the matchups set and the game times set as well. So we'll be sending out just a mini schedule before we get all the razzmatazz added to it. You should get that tonight, and then we'll move forward from there. So thank you, everybody,
very much.
Remember, please, on Friday game starting at 3 p.m. We have to start at 3 p.m. for the Friday game. So if you are traveling from anywhere outside of Dallas area, please try to come on time. It's going to be a Friday.
Traffic in Dallas is horrible.
Traffic from the airport here is about 30 minutes, 35 minutes drive. However, I cannot guarantee you 35 minutes on Friday afternoon. So if I were you, I would try and book my ticket for early flight or come on Thursday night. That would be better for you.
You can come on Monday.
No, Monday night. Thursday night, preferably. If you can't do that, try to come early on Friday. So you have enough time to check out the field, go to your hotel, and then go back to the field for your game at 3 p.m. Thank you very much.
All right, okay.
See.
So,
Thank you very much. See.
Can you
no, we're gonna end it.
Let me make sure because
Go ahead.